This is Thinking Clearly, where political extremes meet the common sense center. Ben Shapiro to America, Shut Up and Eat Your Goyslop. That is the actual title of Tucker's latest video. I'm not kidding. This is no joke. That is really his most recent title. Tucker Carlson has spent more than a year insisting that criticism of him is anti-Semitic, is dishonest, and hysterical. He gets very indignant when he says this, as if to say, how dare you question his intentions? He would never be anti-Semitic. But there comes a point when the defenses of "you misunderstood me" loses all credibility. How many times can somebody walk up directly to that same line after understanding exactly where that line is before you conclude he already knows exactly what he's doing? So when you look at this title, Ben Shapiro to America, Shut Up and Eat Your Goyslop, it becomes almost impossible not to ask that question. It is one thing to criticize Israel. Plenty of people do, including Tucker. And criticism of Israel is not automatically anti-Semitic. But when you use the term Goyslop, then depict Ben Shapiro as a front for an unnamed larger interest, you are no longer just criticizing Israel. You're moving directly into the oldest anti-Semitic conspiracy theory structures. That takes us over the line. At that point, plausible deniability disappears. I'm not asking you to accept my definition of anti-Semitism. Here's the Holocaust Museums and the AHRAs, the International Holocaust Remembrance Alliance. The U.S. Holocaust Memorial Museum describes anti-Semitic conspiracy theories as portraying Jews as secret actors or puppet masters behind major events. The IHRA specifically identifies allegations of collective Jewish power controlling governments, economies, media, or other institutions, as well as accusations that our Jews are more loyal to Israel than their own country. Now listen again to Tucker's words. Goyslop or framing Ben as a front for unnamed larger interests. But yet Tucker says he isn't anti-Semitic. But how many times does one get to deny something that they repeatedly escalate at the very rhetoric as he's being criticized for? At what point does plausible deniability stop being plausible? I'm not pretending I can read what's inside his head, and I don't need to. I can judge the words he deliberately chose to put on the screen and the argument he deliberately chose to make. Then we need to look at the video he put out about a week earlier, talking about what comes after MAGA and the possibility of a third party. What makes this politically interesting is that Tucker's new movement could pull both ends of the horseshoe. What do I mean by that? On the right, nationalism, America first, immigration, restriction, anti-globalism, and rejection of traditional Republican foreign policy. On the populist left, hostility towards corporations, concentrated wealth, anti-war justice, politics, contempt for establishment institutions, and increasingly hostile towards Israel. Those groups disagree profoundly about plenty of things. I'm not saying that the far left and the far right are the same. They're not. But increasingly, they share some of the same villains. And political horseshoes can form when grievance converge. Anti-Semitic conspiracy narratives have historically been unusually capable of traveling across ideological lines because they offer a simple explanation for complicated problems. Hidden elites are manipulating ordinary people and controlling institutions. The Holocaust Museum notes that these narratives repeatedly reemerge during periods of political, economic, and social upheaval. Tucker says MAGA has run its course. He says something new is coming. He talks openly about a third party. And now the rhetoric is becoming darker and more explicit. So what exactly is he trying to build? The danger is not simply that Tucker has become more extreme. It's that he may have figured out which grievances can unite people who otherwise have almost nothing in common. The question is no longer whether Tucker knows what this sounds like. He has been told he understands. Clearly he understands. The question is why he has chosen to keep escalating the language. and the story. He's already talking about a third party. So what exactly is he trying to build? Because to me, as a Jew, it increasingly does not sound like a political home where people like me would be welcome. And given the direction he keeps choosing, I have to ask whether that exclusion isn't simply a coincidence, but part of the point. Thank you for watching. I appreciate it. If you would please like and subscribe to this video. It really helps us with the algorithm and to grow. And I'll see you on the next one. Thank you.